Hi, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. This tutorial is part one of a machine embroidery pillow design. So in part one, this one here, I'm going to show you how to use your embroidery machine to print out whatever design you would like. In this one, I'm printing out a Christmas design to be used in a pillow. Part two will show you how to take the design, cut it into whatever size you want, and put it into a pillow that has piping and ruffles on it. Very pretty little pillow. So as you can see on this one, I have a small little design up here in the corner, and then the words Merry Christmas. Now I'm using polyester embroidery machine thread. I recommend polyester because if you should want to wash this, it'll be washable. So make sure whatever threads you select that you understand the proper cleaning care of it if it should get soiled. All right, let's get started. I'm going to show you the fabrics and stabilizer that I am using. This is my stabilizer. It is a tearaway stabilizer and mine's kind of heavy. I like using the heavier stabilizer because it prevents a lot of puckering. This is the fabric right here that I'm doing the embroidery on, and it's a canvas-like fabric, so it's thick. And I also like using this for some of my embroidery designs, especially if it's a complicated design. There again, less puckering. When I purchased my embroidery machine, they told me that if you're having problems with a lot of puckering on your embroidery designs, to use a iron-on stabilizer, preferably a heavy one, and sometimes that will help prevent a lot of puckering. So now I'm going to show you how to put it on your hoop. My machine came with 4 different hoop sizes, and this is the second to largest size hoop. Your machine may have come with maybe just 1 or more, so you have to make sure you make your design to where it will fit on the hoop that you have. So there's 2 sections to this hoop. There's this hoop part that goes on the top, and then here is the bottom hoop. On one side, there is this piece that sticks out. This is the piece that attaches to your embroidery machine. And then on mine, I have a little screw over here, and this is to loosen the hoop so that you can get your fabric on and get your top hoop in. And sometimes you will need a little screwdriver, and your machine should come with a screwdriver so you can use it to loosen and tighten your hoop also. So when you first put your fabrics in, you want to put your stabilizer in first, and make sure you cut your stabilizer a little bit longer than the center of your hoop. You also need to make sure that your fabric is larger than your hoop because you want plenty of room for it to go in. Now on mine, I'm not so worried about making sure I've got it centered. But if you've got fabrics where you want to know exactly where the center is, then you would fold your fabric, pinch in the very center, and then you've got little arrows on here. Actually, it's on the top here. See these little markings here and here, and there's one here and here. So if you are trying really hard to line up a certain part of the fabric, then you can use those markings. Now all you need to do then is firmly press down to get your hoop in. You also want to make sure that your fabric isn't bubbling. So sometimes you just sort of have to gently pull on the fabrics a little bit to pull it out so that it's not puckering. Then once you have got that all set, then go to your little screw and begin to tighten it up. Now at first you can just do it with your fingers, but then it'll come to a point where you can't seem to move it anymore. Then you can go to your screwdriver and continue tightening it up. I've just turned my machine on, and this is my touch screen right here. And this machine that I'm using is a Baby Lock Solaris. Now, it's one of the high-end embroidery machines that Baby Lock has. So in my machine, there will be a lot more features that may be on yours, but I'm just going to show basics right now. So when the touch screen first comes on like this, just hit it, and it's going to come up with a message, and it'll say the carriage of the embroidery unit will move. Keep your hands away from the carriage. Then press OK. So the attachment for your embroidery hoop, that arm is going to move. And once it'll tell you to wait a moment while it does initialize and move. Now make sure you check your user's manual on how to put your embroidery machine attachment on and how to put your embroidery presser foot on. It's real important that you have that put on correctly. Now I'm going to insert my hoop onto my embroidery attachment arm right here. So I'm just going to slide my hoop under the presser foot, and remember this piece right here. It's going to slide in, and again, refer to your user's manual, and I'm going to slide it in and push it. Then there's a little lever here. I'm going to push it down, and it's now locked into place. So now I'm going to show you how to select your designs. After you select embroidery on your machine, you're going to see a variety of menu options that you can go into. And there's designs, different types of lettering, borders, and then this little pocket here is where you can save your designs once you've created one. Well, I want to select the words Merry Christmas. So I'm going to go into this one here, and I just touched it. Then you have all of these other little menus for different types of lettering. And I want this really pretty script lettering, so I'm going to select it. And up here, you've got your uppercase capitalized letters, and then you have your lowercase letters, and then numbers and other special design or signs like apostrophes, question marks, things like that. So because I'm going to spell out Merry Christmas, I'm going to spell out the word Merry first. So I'm going to select uppercase M. Oops, there we go. And it's, oops, I hit it twice. So when you make a mistake, there's a delete key. And it took it away. So now I want lowercase. So I'm going to select lowercase, and I'm going to spell out the rest of the word Merry. So E-R-R-Y. Now, normally, if when you're doing a lot of lettering, I would just hit this arrow right here. That means return, go down to the next line to spell out another letter. I'm not going to do this time to spell out Christmas. I'm going to spell out Christmas later because I'm going to be moving the words around a little bit in my design. So once I've finished spelling out a word, I'm going to hit set. Now I'm going to edit the word because I want to rotate it and flip it in a different direction. So I'm going to hit the edit button up here. Now you'll see you can change the size, move it around, rotate it, all kinds of things. Well, I want to rotate it. And I want to rotate it 90 degrees going to the left. So I'm going to hit this 90-degree button. And it flipped it. So now it's right there. Now I'm going to move it a little bit. So I'm going to move it over this way. Okay, and then I'm going to move it over this way just a little bit. Now I'll be removing it again, but for right now I'm going to leave it right there. Now I'm going to press OK because I'm done with the word and Merry and I'm finished editing. Okay, so now I want to add another word. So I'm going to press the add button and I'm going to go back to the lettering and the script letters. And I'm going to spell out the word Christmas. So make sure you have uppercase on and spell out the word Christmas. So I'm going to spell C, then I'm going to go to lowercase and H, see, R, I, S, T, M, A, S. All right, so there it is. Now don't worry about it overlapping the word Mary because we're going to move it anyway. So you just check your spelling, make sure it's all okay, then hit set. Now I'm going to go back to edit because I want to move it. So here it is. And I want to rotate it like I did the word Mary. So I press rotate, press it again, there we go. And now I'll again press 90 degrees. Or if you're going to move it in a different direction, you can do so. But I want it the same as Mary. So it's flipped. Now I want to move it a little bit. And so I'm going to move it this way. And then I'm going to move it down a little bit. And I will go back and re-edit again. But right now I want it right about in that area. Now I'm going to press OK. Now I want to add a little design. So I'm going to press add. And so the design that I'm using, I happen to just know that it's in this menu right here. So I'm going to just scroll down until I get to the design I want. And it'll take me a while to get there. And here it is. This is the one I want to use right here. So I'm going to put it there. And you'll notice they place it right in the middle of your design. That's okay because we're going to move it. So once you have your design set, then just press set. That means yes, I want that design. So now this design is still highlighted. So I want to press edit. There we go. And so now I want to flip it and move it. So I'm going to press move. There we go. And I'm going to move it over here and down this way. Okay. And then I'm going to leave it. I'm going to move it just a little bit more. Now you have grid lines on here. So you want to make sure that your design is centered. So the darkest line going this way and this way is your center point. So it's right there. So I'm going to count over the number of squares going this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to count this one. 1, 2, 3. So it's off center. So I'm going to move this first design down a little bit to where it's a little more centered. Now I'm going to pick, I think I'm going to go just a little bit, whoops. Don't worry, you can always move it back to where it was. Now I'm going to select Mary. All I'm going to do is touch it. All right, so now I can move it around and move it a little bit. And now I'm going to recount. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move this one in just a little bit. So I'm going to touch it and move it. Now you're probably thinking, oh, this is a lot of work. But after a while, it'll just come second nature. Once you get used to your machine, I'm going to move it a little bit more. Now I'm going to touch Christmas. And I'm going to move it to where it's coming down this way so it's a little more centered. And I'm almost there. Okay, it looks pretty good. So I'm going to recount 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now it's just a little ways this way, but that's okay because I'm going to be cutting my fabric down a little bit smaller anyway, so I'll be able to center it even better once I cut my fabric. But for now, this looks pretty good. So I'm going to press OK. And now I want to hit the embroidery button because I am now ready to embroider. So once you are ready for that, just press it. And now in order to get your design to start printing, you need to make sure that the start-stop button is pressed. Here's my start stop button. It's red, so nothing's going to happen. But in order to get it to turn green, so it'll go, you want to lower your presser foot. And then you would press your start stop button. Before you touch the start stop button, especially if it's already green, you want to make sure you have the correct color of thread on. And on your touch screen, it's going to show you which letter or design it's going to stitch out first. It will give you suggested colors that you can use, but you can put any color on there that you want. So I already know that I want my Merry Christmas letters to be in red, and I selected colors that are in the little design there, the poinsettia design and the ribbons, and it gives you suggested colors for those. So in my little flower design, I selected 2 different shades of green, a yellow and a dark gold, and it will show those colors in there. It will also show you which letter or design will be the very first thing. So right now it wants to stitch out the word Merry, so I have my red thread on. So now that I've got all that ready to go, I'm going to press the start stop button and it will begin stitching. When it's ready to go on to a different color, the machine will stop and it will alert you that you need to change your thread. All right, it has finished printing out the words Merry Christmas. Now, and it's resetting itself to go over and print out the little poinsettia design. So let's look at the screen and it'll tell you what color of thread to put on next. So here's where I want to look, because it's showing me that this is what it's going to stitch out next. And I need to put my gold, my dark gold on. So what you want to do is go ahead and thread your machine whatever color it says next to do. Once you've done that, lower your presser foot and press your start stop button. The machine will keep alerting you whenever you need to change the thread, and it will again list a suggested color. Remember, you can use any color you want. I've just put my last color of thread on. It's gone back to the red to put in the center of the poinsettia design. So I'm now going to just press start stop to finish up the design. All right, it's done now. So you need to remove your hoop. So remember to push up on that little lever so that you can pull your hoop out. Once you've removed it from your machine, then you need to remove it from your hoop. So unscrew it and then take this top piece off. Then you want to flip it over to the back and tear your stabilizer off. And it'll come off pretty quick. Now, I don't worry about all the little pieces in the middle of the letters. It's not a big deal to me, but you could take a pair of tweezers if you want to and try to pull all that out, but it's really not necessary. And then after it's done, I recommend you press it out and then cut it into any size that you want. I'm going to have a follow-up video on this one where I will show you how to take whatever design you stitched out and make it into a pillow like this that has piping and a ruffle on it. Well, I hope this video was helpful to you. If you do not have an embroidery machine and you're thinking about getting one, but you can't afford something really expensive, I have a video on an entry-level embroidery machine called the Verve. It's baby lock. So that link will be listed below your YouTube screen. So watch that one. It's combination embroidery and sewing. Now, if you're interested in other embroidery projects and beginner sewing projects, check below your YouTube screen. Make sure you also follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny. See you next time.